So I think the problem or a problem that most of us tend to ignore is, let's just be honest, we're sitting at a desk all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. We go out and do the realtor appointments and maybe go to a closing, but by and large, we're sitting behind a desk, sitting in a chair, get up to the water cooler, maybe go powder our nose, like whatever. And I think I think what makes a great salesperson is to have energy.
Oh yeah.
And I think sitting in a desk is the worst thing in the world you can do for energy. And so, what I thought we'd talk about here today is implementing a healthy lifestyle to go with our mortgage business.
Wow.
Because closing more loans and being unhealthy, or closing more loans and then, let's just be honest, dying,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so, how do we, on our day to day routine, what do we do to become more healthy? Starting from where we are, wherever that is,
Yep.
right? All kind of different. So I thought I'd ask you here. So, how does your day start? Like when you start your day, what do you do?
So I get up early, and that is
Define early.
so 5:30.
Okay, and you set your alarm, or you just wake
Definitely.
up. Okay,
Definitely.
so all right.
I'm not a morning person.
Okay,
It's that's something that has changed for me over the years where now it's I enjoy it, but it's a discipline activity for sure.
okay.
Yeah.
So you get up at 5:30. Then what?
So I'll go downstairs and I'll turn the sauna on
Okay,
and then I'll exercise. And it's straight to it. No coffee. I may or may not grab a glass of water
okay.
and just straight into it because I know if I'm not in my routine within the first 15 minutes of getting out of bed, it all falls apart on me.
Okay.
So it's that discipline of just the routine of every morning. I keep my alarm outside of the bedroom.
So when it
So
goes off at 5:30, you have to get out of bed to go turn it off.
exactly.
Okay.
That gets me out of bed. And then I'm just one step closer to my mat. And then I wake up, I do a little exercise routine that's the same every day.
How
And
long does it take you?
so the first exercise routine is 15 minutes, and
Okay.
it's just basic abs workouts.
Okay.
And then I'll do another 20-minute workout after that. So I'll go for a run, or normally what I'd like to do it outside.
Okay.
So, and the reason why I do the sun comes up about 6 where I'm at. So I do my first little routine in the house because it's too dark, and then I'm outside getting that first little bit of sunlight while I'm just moving my body and exercising a little bit.
So basically, give or take, we've got like 40 minutes here that you do exercises or stretching and whatnot for like 15 minutes, and then you go for a 20-minute, in your case, run, and and um and and everything you do, setting the alarm clock, is out the door, heading, which is toward your mat, your exercise mat. So it's uh putting a routine together that it's the, as our buddy Steve Kyle says, same way every time.
That's
So
right.
every morning I get up at 5:30, and that's what you do. So mine's a little different. So I'm an early riser too, and I think that's an important thing. I think if you look at um, high income people,
Hmm.
not everybody, but I would say a large percentage of us are early risers,
Yeah.
right? And whether it's by, like in your case, you reset your clock because you're natural. And I remember that, man, when I first met you, you were like one of those guys that would, work until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
right? And then maybe, I'm assuming, sleep in during the daytime, so more of a night owl, right? Still getting a
Yep.
right amount of sleep. Um, so for me, I'm an early riser too. I would say average is somewhere between 4 and 5.
Wow.
I've got an alarm set, but almost never does it wake me up. Like I would say, yeah, I just wake up. Right. I just over the years I've just trained myself, so I wake up early. And so in my case, I started, so I get up, uh first thing I do is drop just personal note. I drop to my knees
Yeah.
and thank God for another at least morning,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the afternoon's not guaranteed. And so I thank him for another morning. So I do that every morning, literally get on my knees, thank him. And and then I started off by just walking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've dropped about 80 pounds, give or take, right? I got
That is
about another,
incredible.
I got about another 30 that I
Really,
want
you
to go.
think?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And so I couldn't run. I didn't have the ability. It hurt my knees, it hurt my
Yeah.
joints. So not just my lungs and my heart wasn't ready for it, like my body wasn't. So I don't think it really matters how you start. It's just that you start. You
Yeah.
start where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was going for a walk. And I don't remember exactly how long I started for a walk, but I think it was for about an hour.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't walk fast,
Right.
So I walked for an hour.
Yeah.
And for me, it's become my favorite part of the day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And because for me, I listen to podcasts, like I listen to very positive things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I listen to encouraging podcast. I listen to some how-to podcast. I listen to things you didn't know about history, kind of that are fun, things.
Yep.
I listen to podcasts about people who are walking the Appalachian Trail,
Oh,
right?
nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So these, and most of them are these young kids that are like in their 20s and they're hiking across America. And I love listening to their story, but it's very positive and their stories. And so I feel like I'm on a Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer adventure, except these, it's real, right? And so as I'm walking around the neighborhood, I'm picturing myself walking on the Appalachian Trail, I guess. I don't know. But so I listen to that. So I did that for the longest time, probably about 6 months or so. And then I started bicycling.
Mm.
And bicycling, I found it's easier on my joints,
Mm-hmm.
like it's easier on my knees and my hips, even than walking. And I get to go somewhere. Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing something. And we've got a little bicycle trail here, so there's no car, so it's very safe.
Yep.
'Cause if I was riding on the side of the road, at 5 in the morning, that probably not good advice.
Yep.
So I do that. So now I've worked it up. I do about 2 hours every morning. So I'll hit the road around 5, and I'm usually done by about 7,
Yep.
something like that. And sometimes it'll be 6 and 8, but somewhere in that neighborhood. Dude, I feel so much better.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, so when you first started, how did you make it so it happened every day? Or did it not happen every day? Like how did it start for you?
So my wife actually was the one that got me started on it. Now it wasn't like, oh, Chris, you need to, get yourself
Which is okay though, by the way.
totally okay.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, certainly a better man because of my wife.
Yeah.
I married up, that's for sure.
Yeah. You
But
can always tell a great salesperson by looking at their spouse, and I think you and I have absolute proof we're great salespeople, right? So
and so she did a healthy, basically like a cleanse program. And it was
okay.
a 90-day cleanse program. And she's like, I'm going to do this. And I said, well, I'll do it with you. And, two together, we'll make the journey. And so we did. And part of that program was specifically for the men that were in the group was the guy going through a morning exercise routine. And
Okay.
I just have this personality trait about myself where if I commit that I'm going to do something, I tend
You're gonna do
to
it.
follow through.
You're a man of your word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested with you, Carl. At what point did you get either in the walking or in the biking where, because everybody falls off, everybody misses a day, when did you get to the point where you're like, oh, that thing that was difficult at first, I miss it. I enjoy it. I really like it. Do you remember when you hit that change?
You know, no, I don't remember, to be honest with you. Like it just happened over time. And so like we just got back from a cruise from Alaska.
Yeah.
So I was gone last week. So I'm on this boat and I'm going, I can't ride my bicycle.
Right.
Right. And it's a commitment I made, right? I got a commitment. In my case, I look to see how many miles I can do in a year.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
Mm,
so I do some serious miles in a year. Like I think last year it was 5,000 miles,
that's
something like that.
incredible.
Yeah. So I crank out some miles these days. And so when I went on this boat, the first thing I did was like, all right, where's the gym? With a
Right.
big cruise ship, where's the gym? And they had a stationary bike, and it didn't suck, right? Because the bicycle is looking out the window, which is looking out at the Alaskan landscape as we're cruising down, the inland waterway there. And so I mean, it was a far better view than I normally see. But I think when I started enjoying it, I started feeling the results of it almost immediately,
Hmm.
and maybe even immediately. I felt like I forget. I never forget my first time that I went for the walk, and I
Yeah.
got home, and it was like I did it. I did
Yep.
it. And it was kind of like I didn't say this to anybody else, but said to myself, "Good for you, Carl. You did
Yeah.
it, man. You said you're just going to go for a walk, and you did."
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I already won. And there's somebody that teaches a program, I can't think of what they call, but like you want to. I felt like I already won.
Yep.
Won for the day, and I like winning. Like I
Yeah.
like winning a lot, right?
Yep.
And so now every morning I feel like I start off with a win,
Yep.
and so I feel good about myself. When I feel good about myself, I'm better on my phone calls. I do better
Yep.
presentations. I'm better when I talk with if I talk, as a salesperson, as we're making offers, right? As a loan officer to your borrowers or to the real estate agents or for branch managers, maybe the loan officers to join your group. If you feel good about yourself, it's a different conversation because now the conversation is, dude, like, and this is just what goes in my head, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't normally share this because it's going to sound a little weird, but the conversation I have with myself is like, I'm winning.
Mm-hmm.
I like winning,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have half a brain, you're going to want to win with me,
That's right.
because I'm going to win,
That's right.
and I'm not going to win by myself. I like winning with other people, right? So the team's going to win, like everybody's going to win,
That's right.
and if you're part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And not that you might not win with another team or with another loan officer or with another branch manager or whatever that win looks like for you, but I'm going to win, and I'd love to win with you.
Yep.
And I think like it's just a no-brainer offer because we're going to win the Super Bowl,
Yep.
right? We're going to win. Like it's just, but I think that little pep in my step and that the winning attitude was a direct result of getting out in the morning. Because otherwise, I'd start my morning off feeling like a loser, because I didn't feel good.
That's right.
And so the feeling good becomes a major motivating factor.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think
yeah.
there's a little bit of neuroscience behind it. I have no backing to this. I'm not an expert
Well, go
in
ahead
this.
and go ahead and claim it and just make it up. So make up some stats
Well,
for us here, real quick.
let's get into some statistics. But the they I have seen that your brain actually behaves just a little bit different when you get to that point where you feel that you can't do something. So take for example like the 11th push-up. Most people, if you can do 3 push-ups, chances are you can do 4.
Okay.
But the moment that your brain yells out to you, I can't do the 4th, we've all had you stop because your brain says stop. And so you stop. Most people actually have the capacity physically to do the 4th push-up, but it's our mind that stops us. And in that moment, there's a pathway in the brain. And when you say, hold on a minute, I know I'm stopping at 3, Mr. or Mrs. Brain, but just hold on just 1 second, and you get that fourth one in, there's an actual thing that happens in your brain that makes it easier to do difficult things. And I think winning by getting out of bed, winning by taking the first step, winning by getting home and being like, yeah, Carl, you did it. Chris, you did it.
Mhm.
And then it comes to call stars. And it's like, I've already won 3 times. Your brain's already programmed to like, I can get to the point where my brain can tell me this is going to be uncomfortable. You shouldn't do, because our brain is fight or flight. It's like, it's designed to keep us safe, which is great. But in our world, you got to be able to push past the fear that's not justified to get to the other side. And the more often you do it, the better you get at it. And then eventually you get to a point where it's enjoyable, where your brain is like, stop. And you're like, hold on just a minute.
I'm gonna
And
do
then
one
on to
more.
the next. I think there
Because
really is
I think
something
the
to
same
that.
thing goes, like when we're making our calls or we're making our sales presentations, our brain is going, stop. You go, nope, let me do one more. Let
Yeah,
me do one more. And you know, when we spend more time prospecting, we make more money.
that's right.
And when our body feels good, we can do more prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, where I'm quicker on my feet, literally and figuratively. I meant figuratively, like I feel like my brain's sharper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a better mood. I'm in a better attitude. Uh, it's good for the marriage,
Yeah, oh yeah.
right? Because Maria gets up every morning and does hot yoga.
Yeah.
And so, dude, for a little while, they did this thing. I thought of this new business. So she did that, which, by the way, I find when I get up in the morning and I do my exercise or my walk, like if you got to start with walking, and
Oh yeah.
just go for a little walk. Don't walk fast, just walk, right? Just walk.
Walk
Find a
fun.
sidewalk
Mm-hmm.
and just go walk and listen to positive things or listen to nothing.
Mm.
I tell you one thing I do though. Let me write myself a little note here. Get back to Maria's thing. One thing I do though is every morning, right when I go for my walk, or these days when I get on my bicycle, right before I put my foot on those stirrups in the bike, I ask myself a question.
Mm.
And then I ponder that question. I just ask it, and then I'll put in my podcast or listen to my music. And I might listen to classic rock. I might listen to jazz. I might listen to, I love like symphony music, oddly enough. So I listen to all kinds of things. And so I don't sit there and ponder that question, but I ask myself, and I do it verbally.
Mm-hmm.
I said, all right, Carl, how can I, and I'm just going to give how can I close another 5 loans each and every month, guaranteed, without working any more hours? How
Hmm.
could I do that? And I'll say it out loud. And then I put in my earplugs or my AirPods, and I go listen to music. And then thoughts will just start, even as I'm listening to my music, or I'm listening to the podcast, or I'm listening to the birds chirping, or whatever. I'm listening to the tires sing on the road. All of a sudden these thoughts will just start coming to my head. That's answers, potential answers to the question that I pose myself. So give yourself a problem. Give your brain your brain loves to solve a problem. So that's what your brain is not meant to be a storage facility. It's meant to solve a problem. Like how do we kill this saber-toothed tiger so we can eat tonight?
Yeah.
Right. That's what it's designed for. So, but anyway, so Maria does this hot yoga every morning, right? Where it's yoga. And I guess they turn the temperature up to, I don't know what, 105, 110, something like that in the room. So for a little while, those little miniature 1-person trampolines, they're about the
Yeah.
size of, I don't know, 4 foot, 5 foot diameter, something like that. So they're exercise trampolines, right? And you could put one in your garage or whatever. So anyway, they met at somebody's house. It was a group of ladies. They met at somebody's house, and each person had their little trampoline. They would turn the heat up,
Huh.
and they called it hot tramps. Isn't that hilarious?
That's awesome.
And I thought, you know, you guys might be onto something here,
Mm-hmm.
right? So hot tramps, and it obviously meant tongue in cheek, right?
Of course.
And I thought you guys might be onto something here. So I went to go look like hottramps.com. Is that available? And yet don't go look at what that goes to. So as you're watching this today, I'll save you some trouble. It's not the it's yeah, that URL was already taken. But same thing. So every morning she goes to her yoga and she looks amazing.
Hmm.
And but I think the important thing is to start today and start with something.
Yes.
Start today and start with something. And uh, if you're putting something in your body that you don't want to put in your body anymore, and I'm talking about like food or drink, like eliminate one thing.
That's
Like
right.
take one thing.
Hmm.
Like if you're man, I'd encourage everybody, like if you drink alcohol,
Hmm.
uh come off of it for 60 days. Take
Yep.
60 days, not 30. 30 is not long enough.
Yep.
So 60 days, come off of it and just make sure that everything's okay.
Yep.
Right. I think that I'm a big proponent of that. So and then if I'm I don't know, if I'm eating chocolate
Hmm.
and pizza, well, get rid of the chocolate.
That's right.
Get rid of like take one, improve like one step at a time, one piece at a time. Do you agree with that? Or are you more of like, nope, man, if you're going to do it, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and just go clean completely. Like, what do you think?
So when we did our cleanse, it was one thing a week, and it
Okay.
was a 12. Yeah, it was a 12-week process. So for 12
Okay.
weeks, so so we added water, like 10 glasses of water a day. I mean, start there. That's a great place, and then kind of like eliminate from there. Breathing. It's like, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but give yourself, there's this thing called box breathing, and it's like 5 seconds in, hold it for 5 seconds, 5 seconds out, hold for 5 seconds, do it 5 times.
Okay. I like that.
Sounds super weird, but even starting with that and just having intention on breathing, because most of us shallow breathe all day long.
Mhm.
If you take the time to get into that extra level of breathing, it just makes you more purposeful.
And gets crap out of your lungs. It might be sitting there at the bases of your lungs. That's been sitting there for like
Hmm.
since the last time you took a big deep breath and cleaned it out.
Yeah. So little things like that, just breathing, adding water, and then taking out one thing a week and focusing on that. But I mean, Carl, this is such an interesting conversation, and thank you for this because two things. First off, every time we get to spend together, one of the things that I enjoy, well, the thing I enjoy the most is the quality time that we get together. The second is the lifestyle and the way that you treat your body with your food. Because you've got exercise, you've got fuel, and it's a mix.
In motion. Yeah. Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about how you've changed that aspect of your life?
So I went straight vegan about 8 months ago now,
Hmm.
maybe something like that. Like it was the very end of last year. And as we're recording this, this is we're in the middle of August of 2000 and what 24.
Yeah.
So I went vegan and it was like a light switch. I said, you know what? I watched this thing on Netflix. I don't remember the name of it. If I did, I'd give it. But it's where, so I'm a science guy,
Mm.
right? So I have a master's in chemistry, right? So I love science. I love science. Don't do it for a living, but I love science. Um, and I watched where they did this study of, if I remember right, they took the Miami Dolphins,
Mm.
so the professional football team, and I think they took like five of them, maybe, or was it seven? They take a handful of them and they put them on a straight vegan diet. Now these are hardcore, like serious physical energy, super clean head. I mean, this is like the best of the best of the best, right? These cats are got it going on, and they measured their improvement or lack thereof by being on a straight vegan diet. And in their case, they ran faster, they caught the ball more, like they scored more points. So these five players, it made a significant difference in their routine. And we watched that, and the next morning I said or actually that night, I went vegan, and
Wow.
it's never been easier. Like you can go in a grocery store, and like there's so many great options, and then we have a very grateful for. I have a Brazilian house manager that comes to my house every day. She's from Brazil, and come to find out, she can really cook. I don't think you have to have a cook, don't get me wrong, but I think keeping it interesting and just not eating raw broccoli every day,
Yeah.
3 meals a day, right?
Yep.
Nothing wrong with raw broccoli, just not all the time. And so kind of mixing it up where it's fun. And dude, you can just go on Google and give me a 7 day vegan diet plan for the week,
Yep.
and it'll print you out like, here, go buy this and go do that. And whether you want to eat raw vegetables or whether you want to cook stuff, it's super easy. And dude, I feel so much better.
That's
Chris,
fantastic.
I feel better today than I did, literally 15 years ago.
That's
And
amazing.
so, yeah, that's been a game changer. And so but it reflects back in my mortgage business, because I feel more energetic. I feel like a winner. I feel good about myself. I have a positive attitude. I hang out with positive people like yourself. Um, so if somebody's going to go out and eat a bunch of pizzas, I love them. I'm not going to go with them.
Yep.
If somebody's going to go out and get drunk tonight, I love them. I'm not going to go out with them.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, so I'm not much of a moderation guy. I'm an all or nothing guy. So I've learned I got to be really, really careful what I do,
Hmm.
because whatever I do, I'm going to do a lot. So that's why I pick on walking, bike riding, sales, right?
Yep.
So, hey, I know you had an appointment here, and as I'm looking at our clock as we're recording this, it's the top of the hour. And so I'll let you get to that appointment. So yeah, no call to action here or anything. And just I just thought it was a great conversation. I think the take home message that I'd like to give to you is love yourself enough,
Mm.
and just start where you are.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't start where Chris was at, because Chris already running 20 miles a day, and he looks like literally you look like an Olympian, runner or bicyclist, like you're in peak physical shape. So I can't compare myself to you, right? Because then that would be to I'm starting off in defeat. So instead, I just compare myself to myself,
Mhm.
and myself today is better than myself yesterday. And just starting where you are and making no judgment to myself. I don't should on myself, right? Should, like I should this or I should that. Don't should on yourself.
Yep.
Just just do something, but do it every single day. And don't start on Monday. Don't start, I'll do it on well, I got this trip, I'll start. No, start it freaking right now.
Yep.
As you're listening to this, the minute you hear this, go, you know what? I've made a decision. And then you don't have to decide if you're going to do it or not, because you already decided.
That's right.
You already decided. You decide in this moment. You've already decided. And so well, do I? No, you already decided.
Hmm.
Yes, you do it. You already decided. So decide it right now as you're listening to this. And now there's no decision to be made. So,
That is so powerful, Carl.
yeah. Yeah, we
That
get
is
screwed up. We get screwed up when we make, should I? No, no, no. Already decided. So, like in your case, you don't wake up going, well, should I go extra? No, no, no. Already decided. There's no decision to be made.
But that's incredible because I do this. I do this myself. I'll come up on something like this and I'll be like, okay, I got to think about that. I'll think about that later. No. Why?
Already
Why?
decided. Already decided.
That's so powerful.
Already decided. Yeah. So cool. Hey
Huh.
man. Hey, thanks for being the awesome guy that you are, man. I think everybody knows who I'm talking to. I never actually said your name. So I'm talking with Chris Johnstone.
Yeah.
He's my partner in a lot of things. Um, gosh, we got to do one call to action here. Let me just think. Let's do a call to action. How about, hey, I got one for you.
All right.
I know you know this. I'm talking to our listeners now. Did you know that that you can get referrals from Google and AI?
Mm.
So you can have Chat GPT give you referrals. You can have Google give you referrals. without paying for them. So when I'm not talking about, and there's nothing wrong with doing Google ads, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting free. I'm talking about getting free referrals from Google. And this is the newest thing from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Literally, somebody goes on ChatGPT, who should I call for my mortgage? ChatGPT says your name,
Yep.
right? Actually makes a recommendation to you. And we're finding those are converting at us at around 15 to 17%. Just to put that in perspective, a referral from a real estate agent or past database converts at 20 to 25%. Uh, a Zillow lead or TikTok lead or Facebook convert us at about 1%. This does 15 to 17%. So it's right up there. It's in the same ballpark as a referral from a friend or a referral from a real estate agent. And if somebody wants to learn how you actually help loan officers do that, Chris, where should they go?
TopLOAI.com.
Do
And
that
that
again.
will,
Do that again.
that'll TopLOAI.com.
So top TOP,
Yep.
topLOAI.com. And you guys will talk to them about how you help loan officers get referrals from ChatGPT and Google. It's been a fantastic program, by the way. I've seen just like really, really, really good results coming from that, and they close. So this is not like junk online leads. This is like people searching. I need to call. It's like you lock your keys in your car. You go to Google. Who I need a locksmith is a high probability that you're going to be a customer.
Yeah.
And so we're finding the same thing with this thing. It works really, really well, and it's inbound referral leads from Google. Night and day difference from Facebook, TikTok, or those other social platforms that don't work so well. So anyway, hey, so already make a decision. Don't judge yourself. Start where you are right now. And thanks for hanging out with Chris and I today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for your leadership, Carl.
Thanks, guys.